Hi, this is Jamie Maggart coming to you from my craft table again. Again, it's moved a little bit. We did a little reorganization in my craft room, so I hope this angle works. I'm going to put you up. I'm going to show you how to make a card today. Let me show you what we've got. Okay, this is the card that I made. There's a glare. Okay, and let me show you what we're using. We're going to be using the Stamparatus because we're going to stamp the buffalo check background. That's the best way to get it clear and crisp. Our consumables, I have a 3.5 by 4 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White to stamp the plaid onto. I have a piece of black foil cardstock, which is 3 3/4 by 3. I have a piece of Dashing Along Designer Series paper, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I'm going to be using this side that has writing on it. I have a card base, which is a standard A2, 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I have a layer for the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. It's another sheet of that Dashing Along Designer Series paper. I can use either side, but I'm going to use this red one. And then a piece to go in the center of that, which is 2.5 by 4 inches. Then I have a piece of Sparkle Glimmer paper. This is the white glimmer paper. I colored it with my Stampin' Blends. I used the dark Granny Apple Green and some dark shaded spruce. And a scrap to stamp a sentiment on. A scrap to, I need 2 scraps actually, as I'm going to be cutting out some letters out of it. And some scrap of some gold foil paper. This happens to be an envelope liner that I've had for a long time. It is Stampin' Up, but it's from a long time ago. Okay, so let's put those things up here. For stamps, we're going to use Merry Christmas to All, this little tiny one here that says wishing you peace and love all year long. I did do stamp surgery and separate the 2 lines, wishing you, because I wanted the joy to be between them. And then from Peaceful Poinsettia, I'm using this little poinsettia and the dies that goes along with that. Buffalo check, the large letters framelits, and I'm using JOY. And the detailed poinsettia thinlets. I'm using, let's pull it out, the framelit to cut out that little poinsettia, and this one here. Okay. Let's do this part first so we can get that out of the way and I can put it away. And our big shot we need. Okay, so I took the Sparkle Glimmer paper and I just colored it with my markers. You have to be gentle because you don't want to ruin the tip of your markers. I'll just show you on this little tiny piece here. You just gently go in one direction. You don't want to scribble because it's like sandpaper. You don't want to sand the, fuzz the end of your marker. So I wouldn't recommend doing this a lot. But this is the only color of paper I had, so. And then I just went over it again with some of the shaded spruce to get a little bit of a darker color. And then I took this die here and put it on my paper. I've already cut some out, so I wouldn't be on here forever. And I cut 3 of them out. Okay, so I'll put this aside because I'm done with that. with this. Then on the scrap of the sentiment strip, I took the poinsettia stamp, and oh, I forgot, the inks we're using is cherry cobbler and memento. And we're using a couple other Stampin' Blends and a Bic and a Sharpie marker. Okay, so we're going to ink up the poinsettia. I'm going to stamp it. Okay, this away. And we're going to take our Stampin' Blends. We're going to take the light granny apple green, and we're going to color all the leaves in. Okay, then we're going to take the darker of the granny apple green, and we're going to pick one half of the leaf to color darker. And this particular leaf has part that's underneath, so I chose that side. So I'll choose the opposite side of the other leaf next to it. And this one, it doesn't matter. Okay. Then I took the dark shaded spruce, and I just, with the tiny end, just did a little tiny bit of this dark shaded spruce at the bottom of this dark leaf. Just to add a little bit more color. I didn't even blend it really well. I just did that. And then I have two red markers. I have a light cherry cobbler, and I'm going to do a C stroke on these little berries, like a C on one side, leave the other side white. And then I'm taking this light real red and coloring in the rest of it. Okay, and then I take this die, line it up. I use Post-it tape to hold it where I want it. And I ran it through my machine. And for the sake of time, I already have one cut out. Okay. Put this up here. Put this die away so I don't lose it. These away. Okay. Now we're going to do the stamping on the plaid. I've got my buffalo check stamp in my MISTI. I'm just going to put my paper in the center here. I want to kind of line it up with a couple lines just so that if I have to restamp it, I can. But it's probably not going to worry about it. Okay, now we're going to take the cherry cobbler. Ink up that stamp, pop it open. This particular one is really hard to open. Here we go. Ink it up really well. I've taken the foam mat out of there because this is a cling mount or a clear mount rubber stamp. Oh, see, it definitely needs to go more. good pressure. I have a hair on my stamp. Let's get that off of there. We can touch that up. Good. Okay, I'll put this aside. I'll clean it later. Okay, now we're going to also need a ruler. I've got two markers. One's a Bic and one's a Sharpie. This one's got a thicker nib. This one's got a thin nib. And we're going to draw some lines in between these checks. Just makes it look a little bit more fun. So I just line up my ruler, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm just, oh, before I do this, I don't want marker all over my desk. A piece of scrap paper. If you want it to be precise, you can line this up so that the lines line up on your grid paper. I don't worry about it, I just kind of eyeball it. I want to put a thick line between the two red stripes, so I just take my marker and I'm going to draw a line between the two stripes, move it over. Like I said, I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing. I put the ruler so it's in the center, and then this line is just a little bit to the right of it. Get one there or not. I'm going to worry about that one. Okay, then we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. And that dresses it up quite a bit, makes it look like a plaid shirt. Then the fine line finishes it really nicely. Alright, now we're going to take the finer one. We're going to do a line right next to this thick line to the left of it. Oops, the marker didn't want to draw. And you can put them anywhere. You can use any colors you want. I just wanted to use the red, white, and black plaid. Turn it. It'll work better from one side, so that's why I turned it around. Now before you go and use this with another alcohol-based marker, another color, make sure you wipe the end of your ruler so that you don't get that ink spreading into your markers. Okay, now we're going to take those Joy dies, which are up here, and we're going to center them in the center of this. The reason I'm doing that is because that way then we can use this piece for another card. And then I'm going to run it through my machine, my Big Shot. Bring it up here. And my sandwich is my regular Big Shot platform, my thin die adapter, a cutting mat, it's a really warped cutting mat, my paper with my dies on top, and another cutting mat. Now I have noticed with this new machine I have to make sure my plates are lined up very well because they won't they'll grind on the edges if I don't. Just crank it through. That should be all I need. Perfect. Okay, then while I'm at it, I've already done the other ones. Let me do one more. Yeah. I already did the white ones. I would take the white layer, these out of here. I have them taped together so that they come out the same every time, but it's not really necessary. It's just I wanted to be able to use this piece for another project, so I want to save this. Okay, so then I put this on the white paper. It's the thick white. And I'd run it through my machine. Since I've already dropped my die, I'm going to just put these away so I don't lose them. I've got them already cut out. I dropped my plate. Alright, so let's dump these on the desk. I'm going to take my Tombow Mono Glue, and I'm going to take the letters. I should have done this before, and I'm going to just run some glue on the top of one of the white pieces, find the other white piece, line it up on top, press it together. Then I'm going to find the plaid piece that we just did. I'm going to put glue on the top of this one, the plaid piece on top. Basically we're making our own chipboard letters with this plaid that we just made with the buffalo check background stamp. Okay, so there's our J. You see it? Okay, we're going to do the same for the O and the Y. Really doesn't take very long. And I'm just putting a little bit of glue. I'm not putting a lot. See? Stack them up. Push them together. A little bit of glue. Up. I've noticed this is the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter if you get it. There's no right or wrong. And then the Y's. The Y's got a right and a wrong side, so make sure you get it. Glue on the correct side. Alright. There we go. All lined up, press it down. There's our letters, okay? Now we can start assembling the card. It's really fairly easy. Oh. I'll do the inside first. It's probably easier to get them out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to take this DSP and I'm going to put it on, center it on the inside of the card. I don't always do stuff on the inside of my cards, but I kind of thought it needed it for this one. Center it up. This one has 1/8 of an inch all the way around it. Okay, now I'm going to take that holly. I'm going to stamp it on the corner of this 2 1/4 by 4 inch piece. I'm not going to color it in though, I'm just going to stamp it. Just for a little bit of interest. Okay, then we'll glue it right in the center. Oh, this is a shimmer piece, I didn't realize. That's alright. Just went in my scrap bin. Pulled out a piece. Alright. So that's the inside. Now the front of the card is going to get this 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch piece of, it looks like newsprint. You do want to make sure when you cut it out that you have the words going the correct direction, unless you want your card to go this way. You want the words going the same direction as your card. Most of them are non-directional, it doesn't matter what this particular one is. So we'll center it up on the front of the card, and this one only has a 1/16 of an inch border around it. Alright. Now we're going to set this part aside for a minute, and we are going to do the this part. Now we kind of want to lay it out a little bit. So we don't want this, oh actually we need this over here because we want to see how far we want those to stick out. This is going to go in the center of there. And we're going to put hollies like this. We're going to put 2 on this side. And 1 on this side. Down here. Okay, so these 2 are going to go on the back of the J. So let's put a little glue on the back of our J. We don't want it to get onto the black piece because it's real hard to get off it. We just want to pick up those pieces if we can. It's kind of hard to do, so we're sticking like the static electricity to the paper. Just pick them up and stick them to the back of it. Okay, then we're going to take some mini dimensionals. Sorry, it's sticking to my fingers. The mini dimensionals fit perfectly, so we're going to take one and of course they're all hair like everything else in my craft room. I got it stuck to my finger. Alright, we're going to put a mini dimensional right over those hollies. And we're going to put a couple more on the back of this. I'm going to turn the O over and put some on the back of it. On each side is adequate. I got Tombow on my fingers. Everything is sticking to me. And then on this Y, we want this to stick down here at the bottom of this Y here. So we're going to put a little Tombow there. Stick this in it. Dimensional and stick it on there and hold it in there. Then add the dimensionals. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera. The rest of the way around. just got to be careful where you get it. All right. Now I'm going to glue this to the front of my card. The silver, the gold, black foil paper. You could use plain black paper, but I had this sitting there on my desk, so it's like, okay, I'm going to use it. Alright. And I'm going to put the O on first in the center. Where did my little holly go that I cut out? O right in the center. Put the other letters on either side of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's put the J on. Make sure it's lined up top and bottom. Okay, and the Y. Hardest part of this is cutting everything out and getting these dimensional backs on. Tiny. Alright, let's put the Y on. Alright, I want to glue this on down here. Decide if I want to pop it up. I think I just want to glue it on. Okay, let's set this aside for a minute. And we're going to stamp our sentiment. And we have that piece of white strip. Where did I put it? Get another piece out. To see how I cut them apart so I could have more space between them, so I could have them cut into strips. And I'm using the Memento ink. Perfect. Okay. Now let's get a scissor. And cut the strips. I'd do better on one side. I don't know why. I have easier seeing, I think. I just want the ends to be about the same length. Okay, now this little strip of gold foil. This one's smaller, so it can fit right on there, and I'll glue it on. just using the tombow to glue it on. Trim it. Okay, now this one. On here. Trim it off. Okay. And then the other one go. There it is. Okay, so the wishing you is going to go up here. Where you want it, and so it's going to say wishing you joy, peace, and love all year long. Some glue on the back. There we go, and there's our card for today. There's the outside, and then there's the inside. Well, thank you for joining me at my craft table again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.